Oh, yeah.
Wow, we're live. Look at
that.
Yeah.
Hey, Wi-Fi's good? Wi-Fi's good right now?
Yeah.
All right. Good. Hey, I did the little prayer before. Louis Riddick, ball knower, ball god, football god. Look out for me for the stream as we bless the airways with ball talk. Louis Riddick, please let the Wi-Fi act normal today.
Amen.
All right. Shout our saving grace.
Louis Riddick, the ball knower
It's
god.
up to you, Louis.
We're here. It's the Crunch Time podcast. Of course, Crunch Time with Jeff and Buddha. Today it's Jeff and Lukas. Jeff Iafrate and Lukas Klotz. And we're happy to have you. Everybody who decided to tune in today, it's much appreciated. We love you. Shout out to the couple of guys who just became Crunch members, by the way. Two people. I want to give a shout out here and find who they are. Robert Lane and Matthew Evans. Two new members of the program. We appreciate you. Thank you. We have a packed show for today. Very packed show. We're going to get into Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell, Ben Johnson, all winning an award we'll get into in a little bit, or at least being a finalist for an award. We'll get through that. Of course, a little halfway through the show, we're going to get more into the matchup lines versus the 49ers. We got a little bit of Kayvon Thibodeau to talk about around the Brad Holmes discussion because it relates to Brad Holmes.
Can sum up that select. We could have already summed up the selection after last year. Kayvon did have a good year, but he showed you exactly why you take Aiden Hutchinson there, not Kayvon Thibodeau. And he's not even playing. That's the best part.
Yeah, no, and it's funny how that works, right? Aiden Hutchinson, look at the player he is. Even though listen, me and Adam previewed the draft, we talked a lot about the prospects, and we're happy with Aiden. Even at the time, we wanted Aiden Hutchinson. But before we start, Lukas, how you feeling? How you feeling tonight, baby? I'm fired up.
Feeling victorious, Jeff Iafrate. And I know you do too. The definition of Hollywood was on full scope today. And I will say this, well deserved. Well deserved. That tweet you put out, very respectful. Didn't take any shots. You just told it how it was, just like you do on air. And the people loved it. You got all the respect you deserve, man. We are where we are supposed to be.
Yes, we are. And I appreciate you, Lukas. I do. I posted that today. It was more so just to give clarity for people that might have been asking questions. I wanted to put out a statement for everybody. And man, it blew up. I had a ton of support from a lot of people. And I appreciate every single one of those people. Very supportive, showing love, showing encouragement, people supporting the program as well. We got a huge influx in subscribers and members. So man, listen, me and you I don't want to sound like that guy, but it takes a lot for me to get emotional. I got emotional today, man. It was a big moment for me. So I'm fired up. All right, enough of the boohoo talk. All right, we're getting into it. It's the Crunch Time. It's the Crunch Time podcast. We got Pistons talk joining. Appreciate you, ETN member who's always joining. Look at that, ETN showing some love. We got your back, Jeff. You're the fucking truth. We got Pistons talking here as well. Sean Murphy, Adam Baydoun. Look at that. Yeah, I remember being in the studio and hearing Thibodeau was the pick, or Thibodeau, whatever the hell you say his name. So glad they were wrong. Look at this, Justin Slanik. I'm looking for a new rub and tug spot. Lukas, you have any suggestions?
Yeah,
that's you.
I got one real close. Probably like 2 minutes away. Just keep it on the low. Keep that. It's my little secret. It's my little secret.
Yeah,
I get stressed out and I got $70 to blow. Give me 30 minutes in the massage parlor down the road and we're good to go.
Yeah, I mean,
they know what they're doing. They know that's a skill. It's an artwork what they do there.
Yeah, well, hey, Lukas Klotz, whatever you want to indulge in, I'm supportive of my guy. All right, so hey, do what you got to do.
Do your job, I'll do mine.
Yep, there you go. That's all that matters. We got Mike Bell as well. Appreciate you, Mike, for everything, man. The support. Brandon says locked in with my guy Jeff. Man, you guys are great. I love you all. I'm gonna try and get to as many comments. John Hughes says Hollywood, we love you, Doug. But yeah, I want to bring this up, and I'm going to get this on the screen because I think this is a cool little thing here we can do. And give me 1 second here so I can put the graphic up. Couple different Lions, at least coaches and Brad Holmes, they got some awards, or at least they're finalists. And we're going to go through them. First, we'll start with Dan Campbell. Let me just put this.
Look at Jeff TD in. Just TD in now. He's not just the host. He's TD in too.
Oh, I'm TD in, baby.
Look at that. Director of Crunch Time.
2023 Associate Press Coach of the Year finalist, Dan Campbell. And that's, of course, it's great. I think we can all assume now the actual Coach of the Year award would probably go to one of, I would say, D'Amico Ryans, I think, at this point.
I think that's the fair case based on the definition of what Coach of the Year is, if that makes sense.
Even though I've argued for a while about Dan Campbell, I think for this, at least he's a finalist and he's being recognized for the job Dan Campbell's done. You can't take anything away from that man. And also with that as well, Brad Holmes.
The real dog in the kitchen, the one who deserves more recognition than the rest.
Yeah, Brad Holmes, the man that really built this thing in 3 drafts. Look at that, 2023 NFL Executive of the Year, Brad Holmes. Look at him in the crispy suit.
Date my daughter.
I mean, yeah, oh yeah. Brad Holmes. If Brad Holmes approaches you and your girl's by you, it's his girl now. It's not yours.
Yeah,
and that's how Brad Holmes operates.
Even if it's a Latina.
Hey, and that's a lot for you to say that, Klotz. I know.
Just by that, you give me a line, just 2 playoff lines. But I would just say a Lions playoff W. You give me 2 of them. You get 2 Latinas off. You get them. You give me a bowl. Everyone, take them all. Take them all.
Yeah, I mean, Brad Holmes, man, and I think I've had this discussion with people too, just around Woodward. Brad Holmes, where do you put him in the NFL in terms of the best GMs in the league? I think you put obviously proven guys like a Howie Roseman, right? GM of the 49ers. I'm blanking. John Lynch. Yeah,
I think John Lynch is the best GM in football.
Yeah,
Here's the thing, though.
I would agree with that.
And for the Howie Roseman thing, I feel like he has a lot of shock value with the signings because he gets the players. If John Lynch doesn't pick him up, Howie Roseman, the best player on the market pretty much, especially during the season, Howie Roseman gets.
Right.
But the thing is where I give Brad credit, and this is why I put John number 1, because he's been doing it for a while, and especially those years when Kyle Shanahan was first coming in and kind of getting his first head coaching job, John Lynch was flooding this dude with talent. He still does. He still is able to get him in the draft and in the offseason. He plugs him with just extremely talented players and proven players. Mm-hmm. Howie Roseman tries to do the same thing, but I don't think he gets the same consistent product, if that makes sense. I feel like he's just like, yeah, that player would be good here, but it doesn't really fit. Brad Holmes is getting guys that fit, and they're good on the field. And yeah, they're not like when Darius Leonard got released, Shaquille Leonard got released. Right. Everybody in Detroit's like, we want Shaquille Leonard, we want him. Well, it turns out Derek Barnes just got a pick against in the Buccaneers game to send you in the NFC Championship, and Darius Leonard, Shaq Leonard sitting at home. So it's like, I feel like Brad just is way better at playing chess than Howie Roseman is. Howie Roseman likes to play checkers sometimes. Brad's always playing chess.
Yeah, I don't think Brad's at the point now with this current situation where he's going to go trade for a Chase Young and trade for, kind of like the 49ers are doing and being more aggressive. Like their window is now. And I think John Lynch recognizes that. Brad Holmes' window is more extended, right? He has young players on rookie contracts. Like he can sit back and be like, you know what? There'll be a time and a place when we do those things. Right now, the window is big for the Detroit Lions. It's very wide. And shout out Flick Story Entertainment, donated $10. Says, congrats, Jeff. We're proud of you for betting on yourself. Man, I appreciate that.
Bro,
I do.
People donate money. People that are becoming members, like you don't understand, like just how good that makes us feel right off rip, knowing that we have a foundation of supporters. It means the world. So all you guys that have done that, we appreciate you more than you realize.
Yeah, no doubt. Just the support, like even like the donations, the members, it's great. But you just being here is everything.
Yeah.
You just being here, like it's not that is everything to me. Supporting the program. And just to kind of go off what you said there, for me, Brad, in terms of a draft evaluator, Lucas, I can make a case he's the best in the NFL.
Yeah, I would either him and you can.
I can make a case he's the best in the NFL.
Les Snead's in LA, right? I'm
not. And Les Snead is one of the best as well.
I would say him and Les Snead. You could even argue John Lynch, but even like I don't know, drafting Jake Moody in the 3rd round. Yeah, I'm not in love with that. Like, I know it's good value for what the team needed, but as far as just pure drafters, I would say, yeah, Brad and Les Snead, because I can't remember the Rams actually had a meaningful 1st-round pick, and yet he's still just – I mean, look at, like, Kyron Williams. Like, that dude's the 2nd-best running back in football, arguably, and he just came out of nowhere out of Notre Dame, and he was, I believe, a 3rd-round pick.
Yeah, and that's where Brad, I think when you get to you're right, another one, Puka, but you look at Brad, right? Like Amon-Ra St. Brown, just what he's done, getting a type of guy like that. And for Brad, once you get into the contend now window and you start trading 1st-round picks, I just almost choked. All right, once you get to a window where you start trading 1st-round picks, I do have confidence that Brad can kind of be another Les Snead where, like, even if you don't have 1st-round picks, a dude's going to find guys. Like, you just have confidence. Like
Brian Branch is in the 2nd round. Sam Laporte is in the 2nd round. Amon-Ra in the 4th round.
Yeah, you have extreme confidence that he's going to be able to find players. I mean, look at what we had to endure as Lions fans, right? like a Gerard Davis. I mean, like I just named someone off the top of my head. We could sit here and actually spend an entire podcast.
Laken Tomlinson, Eric Ebron was the worst stretch of picks I've ever seen in my life. Both of them. Because I liked Ebron because he was an athletic tight end, but what was he, 10th or 11th overall? Yeah. I mean, oh my. And I believe that was Aaron Donald's draft. I believe that was the draft of Aaron Donald.
It was.
And he went 13th overall. I'm pretty sure he went 13th, but oh my God.
Yeah, like that. I can just never. I can't see Brad doing something that's like even this year where people and like people like myself, right? I'm a big believer in drafting running backs late, but I think there are exceptions. And even with a guy like Jameer, look at that pick. Look at Jameer right now. Like that dude is a stud. Like, even the picks where you're like, all right, is this going to work out? He's a weapon, just like we all talked about and what he could be. So even with the picks you might question, it is the right decision. Like, that's why the whole like have trust in Brad Holmes thing is true, because if you look at what he's done, look at the resume. He took this team from year one, and the roster was completely different. You won 3 games. You were like 0-10, 0-11 at one point. And it took him essentially 3 drafts to get you in the NFC Championship game. And I know Dan Campbell and Sheila Ford Hampton, you give credit all around.
Ben Johnson, dude, Dan Campbell and Ben Johnson don't have those players if Brad doesn't pick up that phone and draft those players. And to your point, like, if the Lions, and this is so important for the draft, is the Lions, especially their culture, I think is undoubtedly number one. And you can laugh about that all you want, but when it comes to free agency and veterans wanting to go chase rings and which team they're going to want to pick, okay, yeah, you could go join Philadelphia right now because they're a talented roster. You could go join Miami. You could go join Dallas. You can go join San Francisco. And I would say if you're a veteran, you can go to San Francisco or like a Kansas City. You go there over Detroit just because of what they got going on right now. But in the future, when the Lions get better, and now they're not getting those premier first-round picks, they're going to be getting first-round picks like they have now. Shit, Brad could probably even trade out of the first round because you can keep acquiring that talent, and especially with playmakers on the outside, and you just keep drafting offensive line and defensive line. That's what the Patriots did for so long. They just trade back and get as much solid depth pieces that you need in their kind of weaker links. And that's how they just sustained such good teams that place around Brady, who realized, like, hey, I need these guys to take a pay cut. Jared Goff, I don't know if he's going to do that, but if not, he's the guy right now for sure. I hope they re-sign him, but you have another option with Hendon Hooker, and they did that already by getting a guy in the 3rd round. And I'm not saying that's the way. Obviously, I'm a big Hendon guy, but Jared has shut up all my critiques after halfway through the season. So this is Jared Goff's team, and they have the formula to keep building around him.
Yeah, and it's crazy because it's not just his talent evaluation. It's his ability to work the financials, which like how he's handled that, man. Like, that's because we talked about like the draft failures for the Lions. We didn't even get to the decisions this Trey Flowers.
Oh my God.
Like
Jamie Collins. Like that, when we signed Trey Flowers, it was the most because it was in his contract year, man, in New England. Like, yeah, he's going to ball out. And it's like this is the most Detroit Lions shit you could ever dream of.
Yeah, no, and look at Stephen David. Real quick, he says, y'all see the Red Wings crowd chanting Jared Goff tonight. Yeah, I did see that. Crazy. People are fired up. Did the
Wings get a W? Drop in the chat if the Wings got a W. We didn't see.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I haven't consumed anything.
I tried
the last couple of days. I have not.
Oh yeah, I've watched like half of a Pistons game, but besides that, man, like I've just been busy with all this shit, so it's kind of been hard. But once we get this ready, 3-0 Wings. All right, baby. Bring them home. Bring them home.
Yeah, no. Bring them home. Bring them home. But to your point though about and what I was going with the financial stuff is Brad Holmes, man. Like, that is a guy that is building for longevity. Like, I know nothing's guaranteed in the NFL, right? It's not a year-to-year league always. Like, injuries happen. But if you just talk about setting a franchise up for success, that's exactly what Brad Holmes has done from year one to now, right? You look at guys, your most impactful players are on rookie contracts, and they're not going anywhere. And then you look at guys that are still rookies, right? A Brian Branch, a Sam Laporta. Like, you've gotten here with guys that are young, that are rookies. Jahmyr Gibbs, he's going to be under contract for the next couple of years, 5 years if you have the 5th-year option. Like, this is something that he's building something to be in this conversation for a while. Remember what John Macroon said yesterday, that maybe this is a you're looking at one of those, the crystal ball, and you're seeing like a future 49ers Lions rivalry in the NFC Championship game.
Yeah, no, honestly.
I know it sounds crazy, but I could see the Lions every year just being in this conversation. I'm not talking about the Dallas Cowboys, which you have more NFC Championship appearances than them since I was born. I'm not talking about that franchise. I'm talking about the Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
Like that. Now that's America's team.
And if you think about it, like, to be able to sustain that, you got to know where your weaknesses are. All right, let's look where the Lions' weaknesses are in the secondary and defensive line. Excuse me. We're overlooking that Brad really did try to address that secondary, especially on the outside. He signed Cam Sutton, a veteran guy, and then he also signed Emmanuel Moseley. People forget, if Emmanuel Moseley was here right now, I'm not saying he'd be locked down. No disrespect. It's no Kendall Vildor. So the fact that Brad saw those things, and you look at the defensive line, Kaminsky, Benito Jones, they have a lot of veterans. So now the weaknesses, when they start drafting cornerbacks, when they start drafting defensive lines, for those guys in 2 to 3 years, when they are playing in those rivalry games against the 49ers in that theoretical situation, they're going to have guys that are both experienced in them and then rookies that have been learning from these veterans. And even if Cam's gone, even if Moseley, I would assume he's gone, but just the veterans that are there, they're going to be able to coach up these young guys. Oh, yeah, and by the way, they have Brian Branch. Oh, yeah, by the way, they have Aiden Hutchinson. By the way, they have Ife Melifonwu. They have guys in all the essential spots, especially in the middle of the field, both on offense and defense, and that's where the clock is controlled in the NFL.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Key positions they have locked down. And we haven't even gotten to, I don't know, the guy that set the tone of this rebuild, in my opinion, in Penei Sewell, which Trent Williams, you see that quote, Trent Williams called him the best tackle, like, not even, I don't want to say prospect, but just best tackle he's seen in quite some time. Like Trent Williams said that.
I believe it, because the way that he moves, man, it's just like,
oh my.
The way that they can utilize, you saw it last week because they were getting killed against the Rams when trying to set the edge, and then even when they're trying to do it against the Cowboys, trying to set the edge just because you have a dominant defensive guy there with Micah Parsons, Aaron Donald. So what do you do when you have a tackle that's as athletic as Penei Sewell? You can put him in open space on a linebacker or a cornerback by bluffing the edge off the side. So now he's in open space leading for you, and the man's 350 pounds and can throw a DB down with his thumb. It's insane what he can do, and he's only going to get better. He's only going to get better. That's what's crazy. He's the best right now. I don't care what anybody says. I respect Trent Williams. If you want to say Trent Williams is still the best because he has been for a while and he hasn't dropped, I'm not going to try to talk you off that hill because I respect Trent Williams as a first ballot Hall of Famer. But Penei Sewell is right there. And the man's a year older than me. And he is going to just keep getting better and better. And he's going to get a bag. He's going to get a bag.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, shit. Yeah, I'm really him. And he's going to get better and better and better. The man, that is the most important draft pick in Lions history, in my opinion, because what it will do for them as far as winning. Love Barry, love Kelvin, but they're not, and it's not their fault, but they're not going to be in the moments when it matters the most for the Lions in the franchise history. I think Barry's going to be a better player. I know it's hard to compare running back and lineman. Barry's the GOAT at the running back position. Penei has a chance to be the GOAT, but at this time right now, the most valuable pick in Lions history.
Could I argue that Penei will go down as one of the best Lions to ever suit up?
It's gonna be like the Joe Thomas. Like, it's because especially with linemen, it's so hard to tear them down unless they just like completely fall off. And like, it's hard to exploit great offensive linemen because it's usually just so consistent. Like when you could think of a game like people say about the Barry game when he rushed for negative yards against the Packers, you can bring that game up, but you don't ever bring up a game where it's like, oh yeah, Trent Williams allowed a sack there. Like, it's so hard to tear down a lineman's legacy that, yeah, he really does have a chance to do that.
I want to show you this. Speaking of Penei Sewell, Penei Sewell was the only positional advantage that Jared Dubin gave.
This list was Jared Dubin.
Yeah, Dubin. And by the way, I want to give a shout out to Danny Bennett and Lions on Tap. They do amazing stuff. And it's actually, you can check them out, Lions on Tap on X.
They're putting up numbers too.
Yeah, he's crushing it. It's from his page, but I had to, you're not going to see the page. You're just going to see this here. But check that out. Definitely. Look at this positional breakdown on offense, right? And I'm going to find defense and we could pull that up. Look at this quarterback, Jared Dubin, He goes, yeah, Dubbin, whatever the hell his name is. We'll give it to Brock Purdy. Running back, I'm not going to debate that. Christian McCaffrey, I'll give you that.
Fine.
Wide receiver,
not cool with that one.
No,
I'm angry at it, but I can live with it.
No,
I'm about to go off, but we'll just keep going.
We'll talk about that in a second. Tight end, I'll give the slight. You know what? I'll give the slight. Kittle had a better year. I think Kittle, Laporta's
Kittle,
right
Kittle
behind him.
1, Laporta 2, Kelsey 3 this year, in my opinion.
And I think that's I'll give it to Kittle slightly. Offensive line, you gave it to Penei Sewell over Trent Williams though, but you're going to give Brock Purdy over Jared Goff. What are we doing?
Blowing my fucking mind.
So let me give you my opinion, okay? Quarterback, it should be Jared Goff. I'll just say that. Wide receiver, I don't know how it is not Amon-Ra St. Brown. He is one of the best in the league. 1,500 yards. Called it, by the way. 10 touchdowns. What are we doing here? Like, what are we doing here? Jared Dubin?
It's just got to be off. That's why I said why I can make sense of it, because it's got to be off the eye test, where it's just like Ayuk, he's more athletic. I don't agree with it whatsoever, but I can see where I do not see how people can say they are more confident in Brock Purdy than Jared fucking Goff in the NFC Championship game when you just saw how Brock Purdy looked last week. It makes no sense to me. Jared Goff has been in an NFC Championship game before. He has been in a Super Bowl before. And you were saying a guy who has just played 3 quarters of bad football and 1 good quarter of football is going to be better than Jared Goff. No. The 49ers weak link, you can say what you want about the secondary because Ambry Thomas is cooked, but Brock Purdy ultimately is the 49ers weak link. I don't see you. That is not the Lions weak link. I have full confidence in Jared Goff, especially how he's been playing. You can't tell me you have full confidence in Brock Purdy right now. I'm sorry. You're lying to yourself.
This is okay. Jared Dubin, you're Stevie Wonder. All right. You're blind as shit. And I'll tell you what, this makes no sense. How do you watch this year, watch 2023 to 2024 and see that Amon-Ra St. Brown, what is he up there in 100-yard games? He's up there in receiving. I think he has more. I want to check this actually. I want to check this right now. I want to just compare. How
for the first 8 weeks of the season, Amon-Ra had at least a touchdown or 100 yards in every game. When they played the Bears, it stopped.
So
a touchdown or 100 yards.
So Brandon Ayuk this year played in 16 games. He's 31st. He's tied for 31st in receptions. He's 7th in yards, 18th in touchdowns, and 15th in yards per catch average. Okay, so Amon-Ra is 2nd in receptions, 3rd in yards, 4th in TDs. This is why, and it's the funny thing that people get so annoyed about is the Detroit versus everybody. And I know Jared Dubin, who is he? Who cares? It's not just that. It's just the narrative. I hope more people understand. If there's 49ers fans in the chat, please chime in. Amon-Ra St. Brown is the best receiver on the field. No debate.
Period. Especially just pure wide receiver like Debo. I put him at, yes, he's technically wide receiver, but he's a playmaker. He's like one of those new age players where the NFL is going. That's why Jahmyr Gibbs was picked at number 12 overall, because he's a playmaker. Debo Samuel, as far as a pure wide receiver, man, he doesn't sniff Amon-Ra St. Brown. Doesn't sniff him. Brandon Ayuk, this is his first year of showing you he can be great, but he hasn't proved it on a consistent basis. Amon-Ra, since he stepped foot in the league, consistent.
And if they're talking, Tyler, this question, I think they're talking total receiving core though. So Debo and Ayuk. Okay, well, I'll give you that. But if you're
hold on for this. Okay, Debo and Ayuk, yeah, Debo's at 50% if he plays. So you're going to take Ayuk and 50% Debo versus Amon-Ra, and you can say what you want about Josh Reynolds, but in the playoffs, he's been cooking, baby.
And hey, if we're going tight end group, can I get a little bit of Zach Ertz? Yeah. Hey, let me get a little bit of Zach Ertz.
Your boy James Mitchell. Hey, I haven't been mad with James Mitchell. I know he's Dallas, but the reason why I don't hate seeing James Mitchell out there is because he's athletic. You know what I mean? Yeah. He's got a little sauce to him.
See, everybody loves James Mitchell till he catches a must catch, or he misses a must catch against Dallas to lose the game. Everyone hates him.
I wasn't if you're mad at James Mitchell for that, I get it, but it's just what What do you expect?
Now,
I'm not that mad.
Now, here's this. Let me put this on the screen. Now, this is defense, right? We went to the offense. Here's defense and special teams. They gave Batchley.
Hey, Money Badger. Money Badger.
Jared Dubin. However the hell you say his name. All right. D-line, Nick Bosa. Okay. I mean, if we're going off the comment, it is by group. Okay. I'll live with that. Linebacker, I'll live with that. DB. To me, it's like, are we talking DB or just total secondary?
That's where I was confused too. Because
I'll take the safeties for the Lions every day.
Like we talked about already, like, yeah, the 49ers have the better cornerback room, but the Lions by far at the safety position 4 times are better than the San Francisco 49ers. They have 4 safeties that are better than the 49ers starters. And I would say Lenore is probably the best corner guy, so it's crazy they have Tre'Davious Ward on this graphic. But I can hear that, but then, okay, you go safety's corner. I guess I'll live with it just because how much the Lions have been getting cooked in the secondary consistently. Mm-hmm. I'm sure the Niners had a couple games where they were able to sniff stuff out just because the front 7.
But, I mean,
it's egregious. I think D-line's no question, linebackers no question, but I just think this whole time he was just like, yeah. Like, wasn't even like breaking it down in his head. I don't see how.
And like Badge, like I'll take the Bay. At least we get 1. I'll take Badgley. I mean, if you're gonna give me, if you're gonna give me something, I'll take special teams. Why do we get Jack Fox too? Is that why you're doing the special teams thing? Maybe
Jack Fox,
best punter in the league.
What Mitch Nowski or whatever his name is, do with the long blonde hair? You know what I'm talking about, the 49ers punter.
Nope.
Hey, he's got a boot though. He's got a boot.
I don't care what he has. He can
looks
have a boot.
Dude from
I don't care if it's a steel toe boot. Give me Jack Fox.
He looks like the quarterback from 22 Jump Street when they go to college. You know, when they go to you know what I'm talking about?
They go. Yeah, they go. I do remember that. Yeah, that's fair. Shout out to Micro Mike, by the way. He's in the chat as well. He's showing love to the program here. Let me get him on screen. He says Flicks, what's up? Shout out to Micro Mike. Easy's in the chat. He's showing up, showing some love. Appreciate him as well. Listen. There's Easy comment. There you go. What up, Doe? Appreciate you, brother.
Hey, Jesse Adams in the chat. Forgetting about Jawan Jennings. Jawan Jennings now. Please. Hey, I like Jawan. You know I have a special love for Jawan Jennings.
Yeah,
he's like the Josh Palmer for them. Obviously different, but he's just like that third guy. When the Lions, it's going to be a crucial third down in this game. Okay, it's going to be like 3rd and 9. And you know who's going to pick up the first down? It's going to be Jawan Jennings. We're all just going to lose our fucking minds. But I'm telling you, he's a gritty. He's a Detroit Lions type of player, Jawan Jennings.
Hey, I'll tell you what, he ain't no Josh Reynolds.
That is true. That is true.
I'll take Josh.
Jawan Jennings was in a Detroit Lions uniform, I'd love it.
See, Wheezy D says
knows his role.
Jawan Jennings is their Josh Reynolds. He's annoying as fuck.
yeah, bro. He's like that pestery number 3 wide receiver.
That's funny as hell. Let's see. Okay, I also wanted to bring this up too because now that we're kind of getting into more just the matchup, I want to bring the conversation back to some of the head coach openings because we kind of mentioned that before. Just because I didn't actually put on the screen yet about Ben Johnson, and he's also, recognized as one of the best assistants in the league, which is a no-brainer. I mean, that guy. I've been a Ben Johnson sip, me and Adam Baydoun for a while now. He's my.
You were like the Ben Johnson like the original front runner.
Yeah, because
you were calling him for the OC job. I wasn't even at Woodward yet.
Yeah, and you were tuning in. So hey, I got proof. You were watching. But the biggest thing was like if you're going to start this organizational change, you got to start promoting from within. It wasn't like I knew Ben would be this uber, great coordinator. Right? It's not like we knew that. I just thought you got to give the guy a chance. Like you got to let guys grow from within an organization. That goes for any workplace, right? Like if you're working anywhere, the companies that are promoting from within, it's more rewarding, right? And I think if the Lions, it seems like they're always hiring their brothers and sisters. Well, why not go get a guy that's already here, right? You're going to hire somebody that's already here, and he's the pass game coordinator. And Jared Goff was playing really well at the end of that season, and they brought him in, and look at what he's done. Like it's not a matter of if he becomes a head coach; it's when. It is when. And I want to put up this graphic here, and then we'll talk about some of the head coaching openings that are still available because. I don't know, Lucas.
We were talking about it.
He could stay. I can't believe I'm saying it. Here you go. 2023 Associated Press, excuse me. Associated Press, sorry, it was small letters there. Associated Press, assistant coach of the year finalist, Ben Johnson, which, yeah, we know.
Listen, we talked about this before the show. If you really break down the vacancies that are available, what did we say? We said Washington and Seattle, only vacancies right now.
Yep.
Mike Vrabel, Pete Carroll, and Bill Belichick. So you got to assume, and that's hard. That would be really hard for me, even if I'm Washington, who Ben's pinned to right now, and everybody. I think it was Boomer Esiason. He was like, "Yeah, it's a done deal already," which I don't know if you need to take that as like the word of truth. Apparently, Boomer Esiason's making his way out of the shadows and talking football again. But anyways, if Boomer Esiason's saying that, take it with a grain of salt. But if you're the Washington Commanders, especially with the new ownership, are you really going to pass up an opportunity to get Bill Belichick? And when, keep in mind, Washington's defense was dead last last year. Dead last.
Yeah.
It was worse. The secondary was even worse than the Lions this year. So you can get Bill Belichick, and he can coach up a rookie quarterback, or he can bring in Ben Johnson. Now, both are attractive options, but which one is more guaranteed? And that doesn't even saying that if Ben Johnson is looking at like the Commanders or Seattle, do I really want to go between one of those two? Especially by the time the season's over, Seattle might hire somebody. I mean, if Mike Vrabel comes pounding at your door, it's hard to turn him down. Well, so that's an option there. But does Ben want to go to those places, or does he want to learn and get better? Ben Johnson's not going to get worse as an OC. He's only going to get better.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know, at least for Dan Quinn, he's done multiple interviews with Washington, I believe. He's on like his second or third interview. I have to double check. Shout out to Broder, by the way. Broder joining. Proud of the boys. Proud of you guys. Broder, my guy, the GOAT.
From the night show.
That. But yeah, to the point about Ben Johnson of Washington, I know that Dan Quinn's taken some interviews, and if I'm Washington, like to your point, like if I need a culture change, like we already know what's been happening with Washington. You're getting off Ron Rivera. At least for me, I'm always going to go with the offensive mind, especially one like Ben Johnson. That's just how I think when I'm hiring a head coach, especially when you have a young quarterback and you're going to draft another quarterback. But let's look at it from Washington's perspective. They probably want like a culture changer, right? Like you're going to get somebody like a Dan Quinn, a Bill Belichick.
They need one.
Yeah, they need one. So maybe even you get a Dan Quinn, or maybe Seattle is looking at Dan Quinn. I'll tell you one thing, and I got to give credit to one person on this because they called this. Is Adam Baydoun, Ben Johnson of Seattle. I think Seattle with Ben Johnson is a number one organizationally. It has to be attractive to Ben. I think it would. If I'm a guy who's trying to be a head coach, and I'm going to Washington where Pete Carroll was there his whole career in the NFL, I'm interested. Right? Like it's not an organization that has a new head coach every 4 years, and that team is stacked.
You're right, but then this is where I go. Does Ben want to go there? Because if you're Ben. Do you want to have Geno Smith for one? And I'm not saying that Geno Smith's terrible, but they're not in a position to get a new quarterback. And do you want to go up against Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers twice a year fighting for a division? So do you really want to – and I'm not saying that that's a guarantee, but this is the thing with Ben. It's like, would you rather do that? Or would you rather go chase another Super Bowl, especially if they fall short and he's motivated? Right. Do you want to go win another Super Bowl with Detroit? I think Aaron Glenn's a lock to stay at this point. There's no way.
Yeah, well – and I know people mention it, right? I'm going to put some comments up. Shout out to everyone joining, like a Spenmo. By the way, check out Spenmo's new show, Spenmo Rack Speaks.
Oh, yeah.
He's been grinding over there. Oh, yeah. Man's been grinding. So give him some love there. Look at Booner. I love Dan Campbell. There you go. So I want to mention for Ben going to Seattle, another reason why, and Jesse brought this up, is organizationally, they draft so well. Like and they have, don't they have, and I know Jesse brought this up, they have 2 first rounders this year still, Lucas. That's still from the Rush trade, right? They still have picks from that trade.
Oh yeah. Bro. You and Adam's Denver Broncos. Yeah, they sold their soul for Russell Wilson.
I took an L. I took an L.
Jared Stidham was taking snaps this year. That one of the worst trades in NFL history.
I took an L on that. I'll admit it.
Fair.
I'll admit it. But I think Ben Johnson to Seattle makes the most sense. I do. I think it's a great hire. Now, is there a chance you get to keep both your coordinators? Maybe. I think more likely you're going to keep an Aaron Glenn, which is fine.
Day by day, the odds are going up for them keeping Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn.
Yeah, because I
think about like how long Bieniemy, and I know they're 2 different people at 2 different stages. But think about how long Bieniemy stayed in Kansas City for. It's because they're winning. It's like, do you really want to risk it all when you're considered the number 1 OC in the NFL? to just possibly flame out. And I think it'd be hard for him to flame out in Seattle. I really do, because to all your points that you were saying. But it's just, again, and even like McVay. Do you want to go up against McVay twice a year? Like, you don't like.
Well, hold on.
He would arguably be the third best. Yeah, I would say Jonathan Gannon is below Ben Johnson right off rip. Shots, explosive. But Ben Johnson would be the third best head coach of that division off rip.
Let me tell you something.
Let's hear it.
If I'm Seattle, if I'm Schneider, and I'm looking back, I'm seeing the Rams, right? I'm seeing the 49ers, and I'm saying, okay, I'm like, how am I going to compete with these guys? Like, you got Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, the arguably two of, if not one of the brightest offensive minds. Tell me why I shouldn't get Ben Johnson.
Hey, I'm not saying he shouldn't. I'm not saying it, but it sounds like you just want Ben gone now. You want to see him thrive in Seattle.
No, I don't. No, because Seattle's had our number. I don't want Ben to go there. But doesn't that make sense? Like, if you're Seattle, you're like, I want this guy to go toe-to-toe with these two guys.
It makes complete sense. I just want Ben to stay in Detroit. That's all.
That's all.
That's all it is. That's all it is.
You know what? Actually, I wouldn't even hire Ben. Actually, he hates babies and he hates puppies. So I wouldn't even hire him. Honestly, yeah, that guy's a terrible human being.
We got to keep him in Detroit, man.
That's just
I think where people kind of, and it's not everybody, but I think people get to the point where they completely discredit Dan's coaching ability if Ben leaves. I don't think the Lions offense would be at the same point off rip, but at the same time, like, Dan Campbell has a lot to do with this offense as well. He's an offensive minded coach. He knows the in and outs of this offense. So when Ben leaves, if the Lions kind of have like a stuttering moment in the first month of the season after Ben leaves, I expect that. But I also expect Dan, being the former player and just the recognition that he has on the game, recognition, he's going to be able to respond and figure out a way and make a way for this Lions offense to keep going on the track that it was.
Yeah, and I think if you're Ben, like, you're in one of the best situations. I mean, like, for Ben especially, I mean, look at the offense. You have Jared Goff, who's going to be under a contract extension. Excuse me. You have one of the best wide receivers. You have one of the best tight ends as a rookie. You have one of the best offensive lines, if not the best offensive line. Like, it's a pretty good situation. Excuse me, they're number one. But look, you got a pretty good situation. So if you're Ben, you're sitting there going like, maybe he's not a huge fan of Seattle. Maybe he's not a huge fan of the Commanders. He can wait, like Sean said. You could, and like you've been saying, you could wait one more year and just,
because I don't see a way that either Mike Vrabel or Pete Carroll are sitting at their couches this offseason. Now, obviously, they'd find some type of coaching job, but as far as not being a head coach, I mean, like, even like people like New Orleans, you're going to look Dennis Allen in the face when you could have Mike Vrabel. That's one where I'm surprised they have they moved off of Dennis Allen? I don't think they have. Look real quick, but I don't think they have.
No, by the way, they haven't yet. That man's on a short leash. Dennis Allen is not like that guy, pal. Bro. He's not that guy. Oh yeah.
Maybe not to the like crucial mistakes, but he's not cut from that cloth.
What'd you think of I mean, we'll go through some of the head coaches that are hired. We could bring up. I know we talked about Jim yesterday. You can go check that video out. It's on our YouTube channel. We talked a little bit about the Jim Harbaugh stuff. It was on the live yesterday with John Macaroon, but we have a clip up. So we covered the Jim stuff. But Raheem Morris, who was the interim head coach for the Falcons, and they said, "See you later, alligator." He left, and now he's like, "Okay, now you can come back."
I mean, shout out to Raheem Morris for
he's one of the best DCs in the game. Like, and I know Jalen Ramsey loves him, players love him, but like, and I love Raheem, but here's where I'm going to say this: if I'm the Falcons and Arthur Blank, who's 97 years old, whatever the hell, 105, whatever he is, and I'm thinking, okay, I got to get this thing right. Bill Belichick, I don't know if he was asking price, he was asking for too much, or he wanted too much control, whatever.
He said that there was hurdles.
Whatever it was.
Who cares?
What jump for Raheem Morris? You have an offense that needs to be figured out, and you get Raheem Morris. But at the same time, maybe Raheem is great at hiring assistants. Maybe he brings.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. Maybe the thing that what makes sense is they have a back like Bijan Robinson. So if you have a legitimate defense, but their defense was actually pretty nice this year. They don't have a lot of star-studded names, but it was a pretty good cohesive unit. Yeah. So if Raheem can do his thing on the defensive side of the ball, and then the Falcons wake up and they're like, "Hey, we have Bijan Robinson. We should probably give him the ball 25 times a game." and let him make plays. Maybe they're just like how the Titans were with Mike Vrabel when he was there with Derrick Henry, and they kind of just try to run that type of route, which in the NFC South, the division's not that good. And especially with Tampa, a lot of their players are going to be retiring soon. So that could kind of be their formula. I just think they need to get the quarterback figured out. And to your point, if you got a young defensive head coach, I know it looked really good in Houston this year with DeMeco Ryans and CJ Stroud, but you don't see that often in the NFL.
No, and what I mean by that, like they need to figure out their offense. Like they need a quarterback. Certainly, I know Chef brought it up. Now their offense doesn't need to be figured out. They just need a quarterback, and they're fine. Well, I mean, even this year with Arthur Smith, who is an OC, like the whole Bijan storyline, like their offense had their own issues.
It was just whack.
Kyle Pitts he's not even utilized. I get it as a quarterback problem, but damn.
Arthur Smith had no business being on the sideline as an NFL head coach. Me could have figured out, hey, if I'm the Tennessee Titans with how the AFC South was during that time, yeah, I'm going to give the ball to Derrick Henry and throw slants to A.J. Brown. There could have been, out of the 32 offensive coordinators, all 32 would have done the same thing that Arthur Smith does. So it was ridiculous when he got a head coaching job, in my opinion. But he got fired, as he should have.
I want to play this clip for everybody here as soon as I can. It might be bad quality. We'll see. I just want to try it out. But it was essentially Dan Campbell talking to the media about the 49ers offense and some of the problems that Kyle Shanahan's going to pose. So I want to get this figured out, and we'll react to this clip because that is something we talked about. It's not even really a question if we think this Lions offense can compete. Like they can compete with anybody in the National Football League. But the question is can this bend don't break defense, is it sustainable? Is it something that you could travel to San Francisco and it can hold up? Like against this offensive unit with this offensive coaching, with this offensive philosophy. Let me get this up in a second here, and then we'll react to this. Okay, here we go. Let me see.
Testing the waters.
Look
at this. Can you hear this, Klotz?
You know, their system and what he's done for years and how it's evolved, everything kind of began, I think, with a wide zone, something that they really leaned on. But then it kind of evolved into more of this fast, the fast flock motion with the tight ends. And now you're blasting the edges. And then once you've done that enough, you get good at it and they start changing fronts on you. You're able to adjust between the tackle, the tight end, and the other tight end that's moving on who's got what. So any front you get into, they adjust on the fly because you do it. You just rep it, and they're really good at it. And I mentioned this yesterday. So you get enough of that, then you get the counter off of it, right? You get that, and then you'll get gap scheme back this way. You'll get boot back this way. Then you get play pack this way. You pull the guard, and it's hard action, and here comes the dagger. Here goes the post over the top. He just does an unbelievable job of setting you up. He's going to make you stop it, and if you don't stop it, you keep getting it. And then once you feel like you're about to stop it, he counters. And he's just always been great about that, and the way he sets it up. They have a mentality about the way they do it. You can't do what they do without the mentality either. I mean, it's physical. There's nothing easy about what they do. And then when you have a back like McCaffrey, we know the athlete he is, but he's got really good vision.
I love Dan.
He understands the blocking scheme. He understands what they're trying to do. He understands, I've got to pull this mic all the way to this block, the mic linebacker, before I put my foot in the ground. And if I do that, I'll find the crease back here, and then the rest is up to him. He's on the safety. So you do that, and then you add in Debo out of the backfield with some of these things. You got Kittle in play pass. Ayuk.
This would be so stressful as a head coach, bro.
That's why they're hard to stop. They're really good at what they do. He's an excellent game plan designer, also calling a game. And then they got playmakers. They got players, and they got a heck of an all line that's pretty nasty. So does that answer it?
Does that answer?
No,
Hey, before we do that, great job on TDing tonight, man. I don't know where you learned it from. Maybe it was from me in the booth, but you're killing it. Drop W's in the chat for Jeff. He's cooking from being on the desk to being in the booth now.
Hey,
but anyways, you get that?
Hey, by the way, Dan Campbell, appreciate that, Lucas. By the way, I learned it from you, best TD of the network. But
hey, shout out.
Okay. Number one, I love Dan Campbell. Like I love that man. You could tell when he's just like he's breaking down something. it's just like the ball knower in him is just like coming out. Like he's just like like the media is probably like, they don't understand.
Talking about the motions and all that.
Yeah, like he's going through pre-snap, post-snap. Like he's just, and he's sitting there breaking it down.
He's a meathead, Jeff. What do you mean? He's a meathead.
Oh yeah, sorry. He's a meathead. He doesn't know anything, right? He doesn't know what he's talking about. Which I actually like that people think that outside of Michigan. Just keep thinking that. That's cool. It works in our favor. But I do. I love Dan, dude. And he's very aware. And I know Aaron Glenn, those guys, man, I know they haven't slept all week thinking about this Kyle Shanahan offense. And same with, Steve Wilkes. I bet this Lions offense, like you hear that thing about Ben Johnson, like every week they're doing something different. Like it's so confusing for opposing defensive coordinators. But man, biggest test this week. And it's been a reason why the Lions have gotten this far is the red zone defense, man. Can they keep it up this week, Lucas? Can they? On the road. That's the test.
I would love to be like, yeah. I would love to. I would truly love to.
Yeah.
But we're not going up against Baker Mayfield. We're not. The thing that does give me hope is the fact that we're able to do it against Stafford and the LA Rams, who gave the 49ers some trouble this year. But I don't know, man. It's going to come down to if those four safeties again can play at the level. If Aaron Glenn is able to scheme up those timely blitzes off the edge like he did with those safeties, it comes down to the safeties. Because as much as I love Alex Anzalone, they came out and said that he's playing with fractured ribs right now. So dealing with George Kittle, tackling George Kittle one-on-one for anybody is a tall task to be asked. So if Alex Anzalone's playing a little bit banged up, those safeties have to step up. Hutch has to find a way to get Brock Purdy uncomfortable. If they get in the red zone and they stop him, I think it has to be a drive where Brock Purdy's uncomfortable and it's a slow drive the whole way down there. If they're just slicing down the field, then yeah, I don't think there's a way for the Lions to stop them. But if they can create trouble from like the 50 on in, then yeah, I think there's a chance.
Well, I don't know. You got to take it up with them. But for this though, the Rams really sliced up and down the field, and they scored.
That's a good point too.
But they were, guess what? They were 4-3.
Yep.
So,
and the Lions got the kicker advantage.
Hey, apparently the John Dubin, whatever the hell, Jim Dubin, whatever the hell his name is,
it was.
He got the kicker advantage.
Nonsense.
Jake Moody, though, that's Neil Rule's guy.
But to kind of go off what Dan was saying and your point already, like the way that they're talking about McCaffrey, when he's like, yeah, he breaks it to the edge, he makes one cut, now he's on the second level with the safety, and it's gone. You can say the same thing about Jahmyr Gibbs. You can say the same exact thing. That's why it's just like, okay, will the Lions defense bend and not break? We don't know. You can say the same thing about the 49ers because especially off the edge, I don't remember exactly what all the stats were, but there's a graphic going around on ESPN where they showed the 49ers when it was coming to edge rushing, they're like 22nd in the league. So if you can get that, you even think about how they can incorporate Amon-Ra off the motions with the handoffs in the red zone. There's plays to be had because the 49ers are extremely aggressive. And a lot of times that works for them. But with Ben Johnson, with the speed of this, with Jahmyr Gibbs and Jamison Williams, you can find ways to counter that, especially in the red zone. You saw the Buccaneers do the exact same thing to the Lions when C.J. Gardner-Johnson's blitzing on the A-gap and they check it down to Rashad White, and it's a walk-in touchdown. So the Lions can do the same exact thing to the 49ers.
Look at you see that comment too, Pistons Talk. He says, I barely pay attention to football and I'm tuning in. That's hey
shout out.
Yeah, I listen, we can agree. I mean, the Lions on the road, they're good on the road. Actually, I should say they're great. They won a lot of games on the road for a young team. It's impressive.
Like prime time games, big moment games.
Yeah. Big moment games, but this is a team that's also played in a lot of big moment games. So I think it's like it's exciting because they get to measure. It's like a measuring stick.
Yeah, that's why like when people are like, oh, like yeah, you don't want to say the Lions are playing with house money at this point.
Right.
But I think it would be extremely, like, if you look at the Lions and they lose this game, it would be, in my opinion, completely out of pocket to be mad at the Detroit Lions because these are the first time they're being in these waters. So if they go out there and if they make this a close game, I'm walking away as a Lions fan like, hell yeah, because Trent Williams only getting older. Deebo Samuel, he's only getting hurt more. And I'm not saying that in like a bad way, but those start to take a toll on a player's career and longevity. So when the Lions are getting better and getting better, the 49ers, they're about to be, if it's not this year, next year, they're going to be at their peak, man, because same thing with McCaffrey when it comes to durability. Great player. He has an injury history, like a huge one. And the fact he has stayed healthy this year, but there's going to be every running back in the NFL faces, especially one that's his size. He's going to start getting banged up and kind of going down the hill. Now, they will be obviously drafting players. But the Lions right now, yeah, they might look like the number 2 guy in the NFC, but they're not that far off, in my opinion, and it's not too much longer until they pass them.
Yeah, I mean, this comment, Michael, I think, nails it too. San Francisco hasn't played a complete game in 8 weeks. Any of our last 5 performances beat the 49ers team that took the field last Saturday. And sometimes, Lucas, and you know this, I mean, we both been watching the NFL for all of our lives. Like, it's not always who you play, it's when you play them, right?
Yeah.
And I think the Lions right now, especially in the playoffs. And listen, like, the Lions are a team that nobody wants to play right now. Nobody. Even with the, some of the game, like, they haven't lost 2 straight this year. There's one.
I haven't even put that together in my head. They've always bounced back.
They have yet to lose 2 straight this year. And what's Kyle Shanahan? I always bring this up. It's when Kyle Shanahan, we're discussing the 49ers. What's his record when he's trailing in the fourth quarter? Isn't it like ridiculous?
It's like it was at one point it was close to 0-30. I don't want to, I can't give it's like a Detroit Pistons record.
It is 0-36.
It's changed. No, he's got one.
Oh, okay. Now it's one.
I think it might have even been last week, but might have gotten 2. But he has a couple of them now.
So,
well, it's like a 2023 Pistons record.
Safe to say it's 1-30. Rough. Okay, 1-30. People are talking. Okay,
maybe I'm wrong. It's only one.
1-30. Okay, 1-31. So, I mean it.
And then look at ETN's comment right here. When trailing by 7 in the second half, he's 5-42.
Oh.
Ooh. And that's to your point from when we talked last episode. Lions, if they win the kickoff, take that bitch. Take that bitch right away. Don't even think twice.
Damn. Lloyd says we just have to get the lead. Dude, if the Lions come out, that's why if you win the coin toss, you take the football. Obviously, you go set the tone. You get to keep the crowd out of it. Speaking of that crowd, isn't it like 25% Lions fans, I think, at this point?
Yeah, I see multiple people all over just social media and even on national TV where it's like, Lions fans, they travel well, but unfortunately, you just can't do that this weekend in San Francisco. I'm like, bro, you have no clue. You have no clue what this moment means for Lions fans. Think about every Lions fan that grew up as a kid that now has money to spend. That little kid in them is like, yeah, it's not even a question. We're spending the money. We're not thinking twice if they lose. Oh, well, but we are going to be there. Like, if I had guap, if I had the money to go there, I would be booking a flight last week. Last week.
Oh, yeah. Go to San Francisco. I mean, hey, I've heard.
I don't know if I'd go to San Fran, man.
Shitty.
That city's looking dark right now.
Yeah, it's shitty over there in San Francisco. I'll tell you that. Well, apparently it's also shitty in Detroit. I don't know who said that. Was it
Stephen A? He's like, you drive Stephen
A. You
like,
kidding me?
He's not completely wrong, but man, just to like, there's parts of Detroit that are beautiful, man.
Man hasn't
like to act like the whole, like every city has those parts. Fuck, Toledo does. You know what I mean? I mean, Toledo, that shit looks like a complete ghost town. There's nothing to do there. Detroit, in my year that I was living there, was one of the best places to be around. I love the people there. There was always something to do. Shout out Legends.
Yeah, always things to do. Yeah, there. Stephen A. Smith don't know what he's talking about, man. He does not. I want to bring. Oh, here we go. And I think this will segue into a mailbag segment. We'll finish the show off with the questions. If you want to have any topics you want to discuss, any questions, put them in the comments. I'll get to them, as many as I can. Jesse Adams put on a scale from 1 to 10. How nervous are you with Jackson out at left guard? San Francisco D tackles are damn good. I'm like at a 5.7. So this is where, and we talked about this a little bit yesterday. I think obviously Frank is much more concerning. But I mean, Jonah Jackson, it's worrying, but I think they should be okay. Maybe you get if you have like an 80% Frank Ragnow and you don't have Jonah, it is concerning. But they have Graham, Penei, Taylor Decker, Frank. Like, they should be fine. I would probably say, I'll say 6, 5.
I'm at like a 7, 8, man. Like, it's because am I worried about the offensive line? Yeah, but not even the offensive line. Am I worried about? I can't ever say his name correct. How do you say the backup guard's name?
Coyote? Coyote?
Yeah, Coyote. So with him being in, he's at least been in this moment before with the Lions. Like, they have chemistry as an offensive line unit. And then just flip the script a little bit. The 49ers offensive line outside of Trent Williams is mid.
Oh,
mid.
yeah.
You could even argue it's like after Trent Williams, it's almost bad. They're 22nd in the league overall as far as the yards go. So, I mean, yeah, I'm a little bit worried, but you still have Frank Ragnow. You can say what you want about Graham Glasgow. He's been a little bit shaky, but in these situations, I'm confident in Graham Glasgow. I'm confident in Taylor Decker. Taylor Decker had one of his best games of his career last week. And I'm not sweating a damn thing, even if Nick Bosa himself and the whole army's on the edge. Penei Sewell is putting him in a phone booth this week. I have no doubt about it. Nick Bosa, quiet, unless he's lined up on the other side. He will be quiet. Quiet day from Nick Bosa. They're going to have to get that pressure from the interior. And when you have the number one, I know he's hurt, but he's putting his nuts out. And Frank Ragnow, he's giving everything he's got. Same with Taylor Decker. This line, yeah, they're a little bit hurt, but they're more fired up than the 49ers offensive line, and they're more talented. I'm not that worried. I'm really not.
He said he'll be quiet. Like the baby's sleeping quiet. Like you're talking like, okay.
We're talking like Aaron Rodgers 2021 playoff run quiet.
We're talking about like
Cam Newton in the second half of Super Bowl 50, I think. It was probably before that. Quiet.
Okay. We're talking about Pistons W's, like quiet.
Brock Purdy in the first 3 quarters of the NFC divisional round. Quiet.
Thomas, good luck, Jeff. I'll definitely be watching this channel. Appreciate you, Thomas. You're the man for that. Trisha chiming in. She says, Yodi is what Campbell calls him. We'll call it. I like Yodi. That is what he calls him.
Well, we'll go by that now. I knew it was a nickname, but I knew I had no clue what it was.
Hey,
so hey.
Shout out, Chef. Mailbag, let's get the ball in order to break down how important it is to match up J-Mo and Ambry Thomas.
Hey, he knows. Ambry Thomas is barbecue. Hey, but to Chef Talk's point, I don't think it's going to be J-Mo. I think it's going to be Josh Reynolds. Because I love J-Mo out there, but Diamonor Lenore is usually in the slot. So I think they're going to put him and Amon-Ra. And I think just because of speed that Tre'Davious Ward has, they're going to be like, yeah, that motherfucker could kill us down the field. Ward, kind of go with him. Josh Reynolds is going to exploit Ambry Thomas in ways that 49ers fans have not experienced it before. You thought that last week against the Packers was bad when it was holding, PI, first down or touchdown when it was Ambry Thomas's way. Wait till Ben Johnson gets involved. Wait till a veteran wide receiver like Josh Reynolds with his quarterback he's played with his whole career and Jared Goff gets involved. Ambry Thomas, pick up the suitcase because you're gone. After this week, 49ers Nation, Kyle Shanahan, Steve Wilkes want nothing to do with you. Ambry Thomas, gone. Gone. Will Harris level. I'll put it like that.
Like, it's like that.
Ambry Thomas wouldn't even start over Kendall Vildor, bro.
Wow.
And I'm being serious.
Wow. That's a statement. You said over Kendall Vildor?
Watch, he's gonna get a pick or something.
Wow.
I already know. I talk all that shit about Jordan Lewis.
Yeah, you're gonna get.
Losing my mind.
For those who look at Chef going, Will Harris level is wild. That is wild.
I would take Jerry Jacobs over Ambry Thomas 10 times out of 10.
Well,
I would.
Jerry, at least Jerry will make up for it with some plays. You know what I mean?
I hate how people treated Jerry towards the end of that. Like, Jerry was when Okudah was here, Jerry was the best cornerback. And it's like, all right, now the Lions are in big games, in big moments. And you're asking him to go up against, especially when they were playing like the Seahawks. And even when they were playing the Chargers, he had to be man up on Keenan for a little bit. Like, Jerry's not this like lockdown guy, but what he did for the Lions while he was here, I think Jerry deserves nothing but respect. I really do.
Yeah, if Debo can't go this week, I'll be very happy. Very, very happy.
It's a game changer.
Yeah, because
to your point, that is when you could start seeing like a Lions blowout, in my opinion. Because if the Lions get a lead and if Ben Johnson finds a way to exploit the middle of this field with these safeties that they have, Deshaun Gibson, and I can't even, it might be Isaiah Oliver, but I don't know if I don't know who their other safety is. And usually I can rattle off these guys like that. I don't know who their other safety is. If you get Sam Laporta, Amon-Ra, Jameer and David just running loose and just catching just wide open balls in the middle of the field, and you don't have Debo to match that, and they find a way to neutralize Kittle, because we've seen games where Debo goes out and you're like, all right, Ayuk's going to cook, and Ayuk goes silent. There's been many times where I see Debo leave a game and I'm like, I get out my FanDuel and I'm like, Brandon Ayuk over reception, Brandon Ayuk over receiving yards. And what happens? It turns into the George Kittle show, and Brandon Ayuk gets like a crucial third down catch. He's not a number one guy. He's just not. He has the talent to be, but when you have George Kittle there, they go George Kittle every time. Throw my fucking Zen out. Ugh. Every time they fucking fire up.
Man is preaching with a Zen. Dude, that's why I give you credit, Klotz.
I just stopped vaping.
Hey, look at you. Hell yeah. Look at shout out Booter. He says Debo limited in practice. They said he wasn't catching balls too, which is good news for Lions fans. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't care about that.
You give Debo Samuel one CJ Gardner-Johnson hit, it's over.
Because Booter, think about it.
Like, in the dunk contest, it's over.
Like think about it. Debo not catching footballs, like, dude, he's gonna walk out there if he plays, and like it's like me getting a report that, you know, it'd be. I mean, I guess in our case it'd be St. Brown, but anybody that's not catching footballs, it's like I don't really care. They're gonna walk out there. It's still Debo freaking Samuel. Like I did, you know.
Brandon Ayuk is getting so overhyped this week, and he's a good wide receiver. Do not get me wrong. I don't want to be disrespectful to that. But Brandon Ayuk is not a number one, guys. Amon-Ra is the number one.
True.
He's been the Lions number one since he stepped foot in the league.
True number
when
one.
He had that game his rookie year in Seattle where he had damn near like 100 receiving yards and he had like 40 rushing yards. That's when you needed to just be like, yeah, this dude's legit. Best yak wide receiver is not close. Yeah, Debo, he's up there.
I love it when the ball nowhere turns into the ball grabber. I feel sorry for Embry now.
Hey, Ambry Thomas could be a great human being. I don't want to be disrespectful to that, Mark, but what I've seen on the field from that man,
when I heard you say yesterday, no disrespect, whenever someone says no disrespect, 85% of the time it's disrespectful. Is that fair?
Yeah. Hey, I saw what happened with the Chase Claypool incident, so I kind of toned it down.
Yeah, like anybody's like, no disrespect, but you're like, yeah, disrespect.
You're about to get smacked with some disrespect.
Shout out Brady, by the way, the GOAT.
Hey,
he
no
is.
Pen. I got no sponsorship. Obviously, I got a Modelo going. I got some victory beers after Jeff's W on socials today. Felt the need to celebrate.
Look at my God.
That'll come after, bro. I got on here like 3-4 days ago after the 9 to 5, and I had a little too much fun before, and I came on here.
You were getting roasted. You were getting roasted.
Hey, it's fine. It's part of the character. Sometimes I will just come on here absolutely, and I don't mind it. I can operate off of it. I still get my shit handled. I smoke a little weed. Nothing wrong with it.
No, what you doing? You're free. Who cares? I mean, it's 2024, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, what are we doing here? Shout out Dispo, by the way. I haven't indulged. I'm good. I've been honestly probably because I haven't gotten much sleep, to be honest with you. The last I've been
you're in your Tony Montana mood right now.
I've been
Benny the Butcher playing.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Benny the Butcher playing.
I wonder if I can pin these. I don't think I can. I don't even know how you say it, but he's shouting out KG. Yes, KG is such a good ass dude. I only met him a couple of times because obviously he went in there after I left. But yeah, KG, good ass dude. Keep supporting him for sure.
KG, he's a real one, man. KG is a good dude. He is. There's a lot of people over there that are great people that do the shows and work behind the scenes. KG, I mean JB showing support. There's just so many, man. Great people. I think that's what made just work in any workplace. The brotherhood makes it all, right? And I think the people that we've been able to come and meet and be friends with, I think those are lifetime friendships, man. 100%. Look at this for Robert Lane. Bring Sam Flannel on. That would be,
bro. If we got Flannel on here, that would be top tier. That definitely has to happen. Yep, Steve Lehman, you nailed it. You nailed it, Steve. All the people at the place, boots on the ground, good ass people.
Cade Port, Jeff, you're posting every day. Can't wait to see you make content. You're gonna blow up, man. I appreciate you, Cade. And I want to say as much I do. I love the support, but this at the end of the day is a team thing, man. Like me, Lucas, Booner, Michael Gentry, like this is an us thing. Like I can't wait. I love these dudes so much. Pause. But I think we can accomplish great things together. I just can't wait, bro. Like doing this with you, Lucas, like just chopping it up. People are tuning in. It just feels like we're all just hanging, man. We're just chopping it up. It's late night. We didn't go live at 7 today. We're gonna work. And that's gonna come in the next probably week or so. We're gonna get like an official time slot figured out, and every day we're gonna be live at a consistent time. So I'm just putting that out there now. If you guys have any suggestions for a time slot that you prefer, put it in the chat. We'll listen. We'll get that figured out. But that's how I want to do it. Ideally, it'd most likely be at night or in afternoon. It would be more like evening.
Yeah, just because, especially with my work schedule right now.
Yeah,
hopefully that 9 to 5 turns into something else. But as of right now, there's gonna be days where I'm working till like 6 o'clock. So
yeah, it would be. I mean, anywhere from like 7 to the time slot would be like 7 to 11. So if you want to go like 7 to 9, whatever, 10, maybe like we do 10 to 11. If this is perfect late night show, we can keep it up.
Yeah. Yeah. And just let us know what time works best for you guys too. And then just keep looking like on our socials. Like before we go live, we will always post, hey, we're going live. So if you guys don't want to miss it, turn on the notifications. Obviously don't have to. I'm not spamming you for that. But just if you guys want to stay updated, because like to Jeff's point earlier, this is a team effort. And as a team, we're going to try to grow this thing into where it's something completely different than what you're looking at down the road. So it's only going to get better. So all the support you guys are giving right now, it goes long ways, because it's just like we said, throwing gas in the tank, baby. You're just motivating us. So we appreciate all you boys.
Absolutely.
And
I think 10 to 11. I think 10 to 11 might be the sweet spot, man. I think that might be. It's like a late night show. People are, if you're hanging out, come hang out with the boys, man. Talk some sports.
Yeah, because everybody's off work. Hell yeah.
Yeah, why not? Unless
and
you
we'll definitely, like you already talked about it, but especially like next year during football, we'll be doing streams for sure. Like
live streams.
We'll be doing streams. We'll be down at the field getting content. Everything that you would want to see in a Detroit sports coverage, you are going to see here. So share the stream, and again, we appreciate you, fellas.
I will say, on top of that too, Sunday for the game, I'll be at Ford Field. I don't know if that's a bad thing. Whenever I'm at Ford Field, they lose, but they're on the road. Does this have to?
Maybe it counters it. Maybe it's just whenever you go, the home team loses. So you go to Ford Field to watch the Lions game. The home team loses in San Francisco.
The chat can approve of that. If I go to Ford Field, I'm going. It's me, my girl. We got some friends, her friends. It's probably like 8 of us. And then Ryan's going down there.
They're saying no. They said, God damn it, Jeff. No,
guys,
Jeff, no.
Guys, come on.
Hey,
they're on the road.
You've even admitted that you're bad juju for the Lions when you go to the games.
But
this is like a proven thing.
Klotz.
I'm not telling you what to do. I'm telling you what the people are saying. You do your job, I'll do mine. I'm being the I get off work at like 6, so I'm gonna be in the Amazon truck just chucking packages. You do not want to be on my route that day. I'll tell you that much.
Well, I'm getting home on
time.
I don't know what everyone's game day like ritual is. I know I'm superstitious too, to some extent. Like typically I'll go back to Cicerelli. Shout out to Stick, by the way. He's doing a great job with Cicerelli's. He's welcomed us with open arms. But I'll go there and watch the games, and they've been winning. So I want to go back there. But also, like, how do you not take up? It's an opportunity to go to Ford Field and watch the Lions. Like, watch them on the road.
When you do that? What happens when you do that? I'm not telling you what to do, but listen to what you just said. I go to Cicerelli's every time and they win. Every time I go to Ford Field, they lose.
Now you got me over it. Now you thinking, damn it, son of a bitch.
Hey, your call. I haven't seen one yes in this chat saying for you to go to Ford Field. It has all been no's. All no's. There's not one chat.
Son of a.
Do you know what it is? Stay the hell away from Ford Field. Do not go. You're due, Jeff. Jeff, no. Stay away from Ford Field, Jeff. Keep your same path, Jeff. You fuckers, Jeff. Jeff. Maybe it was no.
Oh, thanks. Thanks, Trisha. Go and enjoy, Jeff. Thanks. Look at Piston Sock. If they lose, Jeff has to wear a hot dog suit for the next stream. Should this be a real thing?
You got to get a tat that said I went to Ford Field.
No.
I went to the game.
No. No tattoo. I'll get a tattoo, but not that.
You do you.
Not that. Shout out Maddie, by the way. She'll be there with us as well. Tickets are already bought, guys. So if they lose, please Tune into the stream at least.
I will be mad. You know how I just said that I won't be mad if the Lions lose because of this situation? I will be mad. It's because of you. It's because of you.
At least you can talk shit to me if they lose. Is that fair?
Yeah, it's fair.
Okay, I'll wear it on my sleeve. I'm good.
And I'll still talk shit to Ambry Thomas after the game. I don't care, win or lose.
Steven David said, "I'll never watch again." Jesus. He's like, that's it. I gave it one chance. I gave it one chance. And you
give those tickets away. You should. You should do a good deed. You should do a channel giveaway to start it up, and we'll actually own up to our giveaway.
Fun fact: everybody who's still tuning in, this is why you still tune in. Guess what? We have a giveaway coming soon.
Do it. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do.
See, I didn't tell Klotz about it, but we got a giveaway, so stick around for that. We will be doing that as well. So, all right, it's past 11. See, this is what happens when you're having fun, man. We just cruise. No time. We just cruise.
Hey,
that's all we do.
The thing is, like we said, it's only getting better.
It's only getting better.
Getting started. Tell them to bring me my money. Tell them to bring me my money.
Tell them, bring me my money. All right, I appreciate you guys, man, for tuning in today. It was a lot of fun. We'll be back. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll do another one tomorrow night. Klotz,
probably. I don't work tomorrow, so we can
10 to 11.
Yeah. Yep.
Let's do it.
Give me time to get in Planet Fitness, get a little tan on. Saw a nice routine there today. Think I said something? Nope. Nope. And bow down. Know my role.
Yo, what? Yo, what?
You don't want that.
Yeah, no. No. Yeah, no. You definitely don't want that. No, it'll be a fun giveaway. But appreciate you guys. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll break more the game down in depth specifically. And then Sunday, we'll do a little pregame show as well. Probably early. We'll see what everyone's schedule is. But I want to do it ideally early. Not early, but afternoon, maybe around there. So we could break down the game itself, give you a preview. We'll do that live on Sunday, and we'll go live tomorrow. Saturday, we'll have content posted. I don't think we'll be live Saturday, but we'll have content posted on Saturday. We'll try to do this 5 days a week. And then, of course, on Sundays when the Lions play. So that's the schedule for now. Appreciate you guys, man. I love you guys so much. Every one of you guys for tuning in. I love you guys. We love you guys as a team. Your support means everything. Without you guys, this is not possible. It's that simple. It's not possible. The donations, the memberships, the views. You guys make this possible. I love you guys for the support. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night. Jeff Iafrate, the ball nowhere. Oh, Lukas Klotz.
Cheers.
Cheers. And we'll catch you. Doses. See everybody.